talk about, just after watching the film now and spending time with it, just what things you might have seen defensively?
Yeah, I'm still muted there. I'm not? Oh. I have a little mute button up there. You know what? Defensively at times, I think, one, you got to give A&M some credit. They made some great plays, especially some of the shots down the field, 50-50 balls, one-on-one shots. The quarterback, I thought, played really, really well. Played like a veteran, experienced guy hanging in the pocket, delivered some balls, made some great throws. A lot of times things that we do too. He threw guys open. We have guys in tight coverage all over him, and he threw them open, and they were able to make plays. So that hurt some explosives. I thought we needed to be a little bit more physical within the run game. I thought, that was one thing when they started kind of grinding out the run game. We weren't as physical as we needed to be in the run game aspect of things, and so we need to be a little bit more physical within the run game, especially. You got LSU coming in, so that's going to be another physical battle. So we got to get ready for that.
And have you had discussions with Scott Strickland about what you had to say after the game about packing the swamp?
No, I've been worried about trying to beat LSU.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Mark Long.
Again, obviously those comments were met with a lot of criticism. Do you have any regrets about saying that during a pandemic? And have you heard back, heard from President Fox, anything like that?
Yeah, I've been preparing for LSU, but I'll be honest with you. I think, if you look at what we've been able to do, the safety precautions that we have, that our players have followed, our coaches follow, our staff follows. I think we're a model of safety of what we've been doing during this time period. So I'm really proud of how we've handled everything and how safe we've been with everything we're doing and all the precautions we've had in place during this time.
But do you understand? Do you get 90,000 people with or without masks breathing on top of each other for 4 hours? How that would be a bad?
Well, I think Texas A&M actually, they created a great atmosphere at the game. Created an exciting atmosphere. I thought they did a great job of doing that. And so, like I said, I haven't talked to people because I've been really focused on trying to beat LSU. But whatever our government officials all say that, and what everybody does for the game, what we do need to do is, however many people they allow into the stadium, we need to try to work as hard as we can, all the Gator fans and all of us, to create the best game day atmosphere we can.
Edgar.
Don't mean to be hammering you here, Dan, but those comments generated a lot of national backlash, so to speak.
Okay.
Are you aware of this?
No, I've been on LSU.
Okay. Well, speaking of LSU and your football team, here we are in week 4, and it seems at least that there's a lot to reevaluate. There could be some personnel changes. Is that atypical? Were you expecting to be? Obviously you weren't expecting that, but is that a tough situation right now, being so into the season?
Yes and no, but I think you guys, you see this every year, and I don't know that you expect it. Expect's not the right word. I'm going to try to think of what the word is. I think you learn a lot about your team, right, as the season goes on. And you got to learn about what guys are doing well, what they're not doing well. Obviously, this year is even more unique than regular. After a couple weeks last year, we ended up turning into this big pass-heavy offense, and I didn't expect that, to be honest with you. So I think every year you kind of get into it, you kind of see how your team comes together, how they gel. And then as coaches, really, you're spending the time. Are we putting guys in position to make plays, right? If you've watched, you got to learn your guys as you go. I think if I go into our playbook, I think we have a great quarterback run package in our playbook. we're not really executing that much this year, to be perfectly honest with you. And if I was calling a lot of quarterback runs, no matter how good the plays draw up, you would probably be looking at me like, hey, your quarterback is like 6'5", 240, and couldn't run out of sight in a day. But I'll be like, but we draw it up. It looks good on paper when we draw it up. And so, from one year to the next. Now, I make jokes about that one because coming into the season, we had a good understanding that Kyle Trask doing a lot of quarterback run was not going to. I already had that part figured out. But a lot of the other things that you do, you're trying to find out all the different strengths and weaknesses of what works within the team for a given year. And I think you're into that. I think obviously when you're playing right now, just a shortened 10-game SEC only season, you got to try to figure it out faster, and it possibly gets exposed quicker and with more consequences than maybe if you were playing the schedule we were supposed to play.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Goldie.
Hey, Dan, kind of following up on that, in 2005 when you were at Florida, you guys kind of threw out some of the offense and changed on the fly. Are you able to do that with defense, particularly talking about the physicality in the front?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we went from a team in 2005, if you remember, we'd never really played much with a fullback. We had a couple fullbacks here that were good players, and we ended up tweaking the offense around doing some things with those guys on the field and helping out in areas that we were struggling. So I think the same thing defensively. You're looking and saying, okay, are we asking guys to do things? I think one thing you look defensively is that we spend our time on is not are we sound or not. I know what we're doing sound. I mean, we got a great coaching staff, and I know our scheme is sound. But now, as guys are performing here on a live basis within a game, there's a lot of new faces out there for us as well. Are we putting them in a position to make play? Even though this is sound, right? This guy, we're putting him, he's not going to be as good at doing this. We need to put him in a position to do something that he's going to do really well and prevent them. If we struggle doing something, make sure we're not putting those guys in that position, right? The easiest explanation is not put Kyle Trask in a quarterback run-based offense, that one kind of process is, I think, really easy to everybody for them to get into all the intricacies of the defense of what we're doing. But generally, the answer to that question is yes, you can. And what we got to do is make sure we're moving the guys into the right spots to be able to make positions.
Caskey.
Make plays, not make positions.
Hey, Dan.
Hey.
Do you think that there could be a sense on the defense of, well, if we give up this drive or if we give up this play, the offense will bail us out? And how do you, fix that, I guess you could say?
Well, I think there's a really positive to that as well, which is called team football, And I talk to our guys all the time is, there's three phases: offense, defense, special teams in the course of a game, that goes on. And I think when you trust the team, right, you got to be able to expect, hey, the offense is going to trust, hey, the defense is going to make a stop when we need to, or if they make a mistake, the defense will help bail out the offense, and the defense believes the offense the same way is, hey, the offense is going to get this one back for us. And I think one of the things we got to continue to do when you're on the team, and I think you can create negativity on the team of, hey, this group's doing great, this group's struggling, when we're all a team. The goal is we got to score one more point than the opponent. And whether that makes it, it's 45-44 or 3-2 really doesn't matter. We all celebrate when we win because everybody had a role in doing what we needed to do to win the game. So I think as a team, and the message for the team and for us is, hey, right now it's fun to play defense with an explosive offense. You're going to get the opportunity to play with leads. If we do make a mistake, the offense is going to go score. As our defense gets better, the offense has some veteran players and say, okay, hey, we got to take pressure off of it. You look at that game, how that game was being played out last week. You figured it was going to come down to a one-possession game. And with 4 minutes left in the game, we had the ball. Going in the direction, we played the wind. Honestly, obviously, when you have to kick off to start the second half, they got the extra possession. They scored on the final play of the first half and got the ball to start the second half. So they were going to get the extra possession. So I go spend time with Evan and say, okay, you're going to have to kick a game-winning field goal to win this game. Which direction do you want to go? That's the direction we were headed in the fourth quarter. He'd hit a 50-some yarder already. We had the ball driving down the field. We get the ball close to midfield, 2nd and 10. Not a great call by me. We end up missing a block. We end up turning the ball over in that situation. And now they got the final possession. And they had 9 possessions, we had 8. And I think one of the things you're going to see is a lot more games this year in the SEC, and a lot more of our games probably than in a normal year that are played out that way. Where it is always going to come down to a one-possession game, and are we doing what we need to do to win? And so, I think we'd be disappointed. I was certainly hoping how the game was set up there at the end, that in a tie game, we had the ball with 4 minutes to go, we put ourselves in a position to have that final possession and win the game, and we didn't finish it out offensively.
Thanks, Dan.
Matt.
Hey, Dan, if I'm understanding kind of what you're saying about the defense, you obviously want to put your guys in the best position to do what they do best. So through 3 games, what do you think your defense is the best at? What are the biggest strengths?
Well, I think this. I think we have some guys that are pretty good. We've gotten better with our effort and our coverage in the secondary. You get into it of looking at that game and some of their explosive plays. Heck, they made plays. You know what I mean? We make plays offensively. You know what I mean? I don't know. I remember after game 1, Lane got up and was like, "Hey, we had 2 guys on Kyle Pitts on that plat. They threw it and he caught it where we couldn't defend it." And so I think we're getting ourselves in that position. And so you can't mistake great offense for bad defense. So I think that's one of the things that we're doing well. I think the other thing we've done pretty well is understand game situations of when we need to get stops. For example, you look at this last game, and as we continue to grow, as we continue to do it, is understanding the team part of football is making sure we have the ball with 4 minutes to go in a tie game with the opportunity, with the offense to go win it. If you look the last 2 weeks of we had a big lead. Now, obviously, hey, I want a 3 and out and get off the field. Everybody does. But I also don't want to give up an explosive play and get it down to a one-possession game with 4 to 5 minutes to go when we can make it, 30 seconds to go by the time that possession ends. And so I think our guys understand the game concept, the team concept, and having to play maybe a different style of football this year with how the schedule is going to be than you might normally play within a year.
Zach A.
Hey, Dan, you mentioned obviously trying to get guys on defense in the right position. You have so many guys at all 3 levels of your defense that could play multiple spots. How important is that for your staff to determine what is the best spot for guys so that guys aren't losing confidence out there when they're playing?
Well, I think that's part of it is of making sure, and what we've been playing a little shorthanded defensively. So we're hoping to get some guys back this week. But, who knows? As you know, this is going to be a really, really unique year that you're juggling a bunch of different things. So hopefully we have some guys back this week that'll play. I don't know. One of the things, you put all these game plans together, and like you're saying, are we putting guys in the right position? I find out about Thursday night at 11:30 p.m., who probably is going to be playing in the game or not. And that could always change on Friday, if someone gets the sniffles. So, not to make light of it, but like all of a sudden, hey, someone has, and especially at this time of year, you got allergies, you have colds coming, and now we're rushing to get tests done on Friday and Saturday morning. So that makes it different. It helps that we do have guys that can play different positions, but it also is challenging to make sure we get the exact people where they need to be at all times, to make us as stout and as good a defense as we can be.
And you've kind of alluded to this before, but obviously we talked about defensive issues, but we're seeing that across college football. I mean, even in the SEC, Ole Miss almost put up 50 points on Bama. Can you just speak to that and just how this seems to be an issue across the sport, not just specific to y'all?
Well, I mean, what could be interesting, and like you said, you don't know. It's still early in the season. Maybe we played 3 unbelievable offenses already too. I don't know. We'll see. You're looking on paper. There's an unbelievable offense rolling into the swamp this week. So, with talented players all over the field. A part of it can be. All of a sudden, I think sometimes you get to the end of the season, and you look back and you say, okay, well, we thought this, but in reality, it was really something else. And but I do think, I think I see very different things from one game. Game one, I don't think I didn't love our effort in game one, and part of that had to do, obviously, you're seeing there very explosive offense, explosive players, the tempo getting adjusted into a game. I thought we played much better in game two defensively, and then last week, again, you look at some of their explosive plays. Now, did we make some mistakes? Absolutely. Do we need to be stouter at times? Absolutely. Did they make some great plays where we had, we got a guy in great coverage and the quarterback throws a dime and they make a one-handed catch? Yes. We got a guy draped all over him and they make a leaping catch? Yes. So that's great offense, too. That's not bad defense.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Nick,
Hey, Coach. It was you talking about the run game. It was really I'll put my video on for you. It was in the run game, the second drive, second half, where they kind of just ran the ball down your guys' throat.
Yeah.
Are you, because some guys are out, playing guys out of position, it seemed like that was a turning point where they just said, hey, we can exploit this, and they just kind of ran the ball.
It was interesting that they were able to do that, and on that drive, you know what I mean? Because you look, it wasn't that case really the rest of the day. That drive, they did a good job of it. And we got to fit better. Some of it is good offense. Some of it is getting guys in the right position. Some of it's them creating some really good matchups out there on the field. Of us, we have. They have some players on the field. You got to be ready to defend. And them taking what they give us. You know what I mean? And or them taking what we gave them. And then we're able to do that. So, but I think hopefully we're going to be a lot stouter in the run game this week.
And then I had a question about Naquan Wright. I'm similar area, tough area. We haven't really talked to him that much. What kind of player is he? And he's obviously had to wait his time, but made an impact on the game Saturday.
Well, it is. He's a guy that, since he's been here, takes care of his business every day. Very quiet, not the loudest guy out there, extremely, extremely intelligent football player. And I think you can see in that, not just with his talent, but the plays that he makes, his reads, his patience running the ball, understanding the system, how to run routes. He's got great hands coming out of the backfield. And I think, part of it gets to, I think everybody, as you guys are starting to see, maybe what we see more every day at practice of, hey, why are we rotating the backs? Why isn't one back getting all the touches or all the carries? Because I think we have several guys that can contribute and do different things and bring little different styles to the game that work hard and deserve those touches. And I also think when you put different people in, plays hit a little differently. I always say that. Plays hit a little differently depending on what backs are in the game. So we're not running different plays, but they kind of fit and hit differently, and the same with the guys running routes and how defenses want to match up with those people are different. So the ability that we have multiple backs that can come in and do slightly different things, but all of them play at a high level, puts pressure on the defense. And Naquan, I know with not just his talent, but his intelligence really puts pressure on defenses.
Thanks, Coach.
Buddy.
Hi, Dan. We talked last week about offense and defense and it being integrated together, making the game plan up together, those sorts of team concept. Are you going to get more involved in the defense, or will it be the same?
Well, it's my responsibility. I'm the head coach. I'm responsible for how we play and the performance of every phase of this team. I don't expect me to be calling defensive plays out there. But we do. I went down, met with the defensive staff yesterday. We went through personnel, went through each guy, went through asking guys to do things they can do well. Where are we being mismatched? Where is this each guy? Where is right at this moment? Where is their strength? Where is their weakness? And are we highlighting their strengths and protecting their weaknesses? And so, we certainly looked at that. So probably spent more time than a normal day with the defense. But certainly you're not going to see me, just making sure we're going through every detail of it all. But I wouldn't expect me to be calling defensive plays or anything anytime soon.
Thank you. One more. When you talked about the post-game, about making changes and different guys out there, without giving away your whole game plan, would it likely be more, it would be different personnel? Will it be scheme change?
You have to tune in on Saturday to find out. Tune in on Saturday to find out.
Okay, thank you.
Zach Goodall.
Coach, Emory Jones was officially unavailable this past weekend for the first time. I know Kyle's obviously playing so well and you guys can pass almost at will, but what kind of challenges does that present when he's not able to play?
Well, I think one thing Emory does in coming up is like changing the running back of that. He brings a little different perspective to the position. And even running some of the same plays, he's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, the quarterback run that I alluded to earlier, when he is in there, it does draw up very, very nicely, and the personnel fits it very nicely as well. So that's just another thing for the defense to have to defend and have to prepare for, of finding where the guys are out on the field. I haven't gotten to our 2 quarterbacks on the field package yet, or we did have one in training camp where we had 3 quarterbacks on the field at one deal, but haven't got to that yet. Not that I want to give away all our secrets, but no, I think when you're utilizing personnel in different ways, it certainly puts and adds pressure to the defense of how they're going to match up against those different people. And like I said, schematically, there's things Emory can do better than Kyle. And so all of a sudden, those things come into play schematically that they have to prepare for, because you're putting somebody in a position to do something they can do well.
3 quarterbacks on the field. Anthony Richardson's a big guy, so maybe him at tight end or something like that.
Well, I'm not going to tell you where they're all going to be, but it is interesting to figure out who's out there. Obviously, only one of them would take the snap, but you don't know where everybody else might be. So,
Thank you.
Close with Edgar.
Dan, just want to get your quick thoughts on Dak Prescott's interview.
Yeah.
Were you watching? What'd you do about
I was going to start with that today. We went right into questions, but it was a very, first I had a lot going on, so I really didn't get to see much of anything going on. And all of a sudden I'm in meetings and my phone's blowing up. And then finally I go, I pick up my phone after meetings and look that Alex Smith is back on the field. Which. Very emotional deal, I know, to see him back out there, knowing everything he's been through, knowing the fight, the battle that he has been through. A special moment for him, his family, for everybody. Probably one of the great comeback stories in NFL history, if not sports history, of coming back from an injury like that. So I thought that was so special. And then, within an hour or two of that happening, you get the call that now Dak's out with the dislocated ankle, and you see it right away. You just know what it is, unfortunately. Very unfortunately, I've seen a couple of those before. and you know what it is as soon as it happens, and so, I know we send him messages and stuff, and our prayers are with him out there. So, despite everything else we had going on, the emotional day of seeing, the roller coaster of both of those two guys, that, are former players that you care about and you love so much, for them and their families and everybody to have to go through that, it was a pretty crazy day.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.